Welcome to CCTV's video series / podcast, where we're going to start a series of videos talking a little more about us, about the channel. I know we fell off there for a bit. We had some military services. We're getting some other projects up, ready, loaded to go. And I'm Nick. This is Caleb. And welcome to our program. Cheers. Cheers to you, my friend. So, some of the common questions in wargaming. What got involved in wargaming? How did you get involved?
Yeah, man.
Mine's super easy. I know yours is vastly more complicated.
Yeah, it is. So, in essence, I've always been interested in history, even as a younger man. But I would see videos on YouTube. I never had the money nor the skill to really paint them. But I went to college, started to get a little bit more interested in history, and then I see. You see Warhammer in the store, so I wanted something like that, but historical, and so I started branching off, and it was just me at first. I bought like my first 100 minis, and then I hit up a buddy of mine, and then he bought his 100, and then slowly we've built the group to what it is today.
Yeah, how many Rev War minis right now?
I think Rev War minis, I probably have about 8,000 to 9,000. And then, if we're including the entire club together, I would probably say 15,000 minis.
Okay. Mine, as you know, is vastly easier. I met you. You asked me if I wanted to go play miniature war games, and I said, sure. But as a kid, I saw like bolt action like we have here. Those are always in magazines, like Soldier of Fortune and all that. I was big into history, always have been. But yeah, man, it's been a blast ever since.
Yeah, I know we did fall off there for a little bit. Whole bunch of personal stuff, but we have been very busy behind the scenes.
Yes, we've got some very interesting future ahistorical campaigns.
I know
coming up.
We do. We've been looking at a Civil War campaign.
Yes.
Another Rev War campaign, Jacobite Rebellion, and we've also been painting a lot, painting a lot of minis, a lot of terrain. We have bigger rivers.
But we also got some Warhammer, Star Wars.
Yeah, we've got
that we could potentially
Warhammer
branch into, and maybe even if we can get enough minis, some Roman Empire.
Yeah, we might go ancient. We might go ancient.
Might go ancient. They're still expensive, unfortunately. But on that note, why specifically 6 mil compared to 28 mil or Flames of War like 15 mil? What makes 6 mil just so unique?
So, of course I have 28 mil and I have 15 mil, but like the main epicenter for us is 6 mil just because the goal, you'll watch these movies or play these video games, you're like, man, I really wonder what it'd be like to command that many men on the field. And when you get those games where they're like, oh, a person represents 100 people on the board or a person represents even 10, that's cool, but you still don't get the grand scale or the true troubles of having to command, a corps worth of men. So I think that 6 mil. I have almost a regiment right here in the palm of my hand. I can hold 300 men. Also, if you're not too artistically inclined, 6 mil is great because you can get just enough detail to where it looks great because of how small it is. But also,
Lord
it's not going to take
me.
you. Yeah, it's not going to take you forever like possibly bolt action will when it comes to painting. So that's my reason. Is there any reason why you like 6 mil?
I do. You kind of hit the nail on the head there. I grew up playing a lot of Axis and Allies, but you don't get that feel of command playing Axis and Allies. At a certain point, it's a resource management game on a board game. That's all it really turns into. But with 6 mil, that's a vast, but depending on the board and everything, kind of battles you're doing, that's a vast thing. You look out there, oh, shit, I have a true right flank. I know I'll throw my left out. I have a true left flank, right flank. I've got actual stuff to go here. And it's fun because then you can have, sometimes subordinate commanders, peer commanders. I have this regiment and I'm just joining your regiment in there. You want me to do this, but I'm an independent commander. I don't want to. And so you can have that. And that's what I really like about the 6 mil part right here is that you have that vastness where, bolt action, I like squad-based stuff. Bolt action just squad-based. Flames of War,
Yeah.
those minis right there, you can't go one for one. And if you can go 1-for-1, that battle's got to be big, and you can only get like a regiment's worth.
Yeah, you have to have. I mean, if you're wanting like squad on squad action's cool. I mean, really, when you're doing like scenarios,
Right.
like hey, your squad needs to take this land. But if you're trying to do perhaps a campaign, or you're
Yes.
trying to refight like the Flay Pocket, or crazy enough, even Stalingrad, like
Oh yeah.
the scale is not built in a way in which you can have those overarching massive conflicts. Now you can do it on like a point base, like oh here this represents the battle of like the Red October Factory,
Right.
and this one's Pavlov's house, and if you win these sets of battles in sequence, then you win Stalingrad. But it doesn't show like massive flanking maneuvers. It doesn't show like
yes.
what happens when you get those supply lines cut off. You know, it doesn't show like a reinforcement attempt from the south. You know, Operation I think is Winter Storm.
I think so. Eastern Front's not my forte.
You don't get those massive strategic looks at things. It's all tactical, and I think that's why 6 mil is superior in that level. And I would even dare to say possibly 10 mil, should you have a big enough board. Especially 3 mil. 3 mil you can, but 6 mil I think is that good in between, where they're large enough to where you can admire them and they're pretty, right? But they're also small enough to where you can command so many and enough.
And you can
to
go
be able
1-for-1 for
Yes.
most parts. Is you know, jumping ahead a little bit from what we've talked about for like the Civil War stuff, is I know Rev War, we do man for man, if I'm not mistaken. It's when we have between you and me 9,000 minis, that's 9,000 little, you know, figurines here marching off willing to go do the Lord's work. Where the Civil War, I think we've had to do 2-to-1.
Yeah, and
Just because we haven't quite figured out a core, and we're limited a little bit by space too.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some good scenario battles to where we can do
That-
1-to-1. But I think, like, especially for Rev War, the battles themselves are small enough to where you can afford to get a full army and it be accurate to scale, man for man, for those engagements.
And I know for the ancient history that we talked about earlier, that's one of the reasons I'm much more hesitant to kind of jump into that. Because, you know, Rev War, like what the largest battle had like 13,000 people in it or something like that.
Just the Battle of Long Island, it's like 20,000. So
20,000. I meant on the British side, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Over there, they had 40,000 versus 80,000. It gets crazy numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are inflated either by history, but
I think when, you know, this might be getting a little off topic. If you're wanting to go back in time to do like a more archaic, like a more ancient thing, I think medieval is the perfect scale to do 6 mil, because you have battles where it's just like 2,000 versus 2,000.
Right.
And that's it. You don't have the large scale armies of Rome, but it's also before the large scale armies of the 16th and 17th and 18th
the monarchies where they were getting firmly established.
Yeah, after feudalism.
So what are your thoughts then on 15 mil? I think we kind of glossed over them, if anything.
Yeah, I know, we're really glazing 6 mil.
Yeah.
So
You got to. It's the Lord's mill.
15 mil is good, and you know when you're doing Flames of War, it's a perfectly fun game. It's good. I know we haven't done any battles. Our
I
channel's
have
mainly
not
been,
actually played Flames of War, even though I have a company of paratroopers.
We will look to change that.
Yeah.
But the main reason why the channel's based around 6 mil is just because we think it's just such a good scale. But maybe in the future we should do some 15 mil engagements. But I think, you know, when you get to the scale at which there is 15 mil that we have, you're looking at World War II. And I think the difficult part trying to represent that is that these World War II battles, it's like, it's not just one set battle like Blenheim or Gettysburg or Waterloo. It's, you know, multiple months of campaigning, like hundreds
Each
of
battle
thousands.
is just a small stepping stone in a campaign.
It's difficult. So I mean, the more modern you get, until you get to maybe like the War on Terror or even Vietnam.
Yeah.
So like World War I, World War II, Korea, it's nearly impossible to get it to scale unless you're doing purely scenario battles. Now we could probably toy around, and that could be another episode where we talk about how we could accurately campaign a World War II. Mm-hmm. Like
I know we've talked
European
about
theater.
it, but some of our of our thoughts are
we'll see how that comes.
kind of how we campaigned and going on that topic. why campaigning over set battles, since you kind of got me and the rest of the crew up here into campaigning over, let's do the Battle of Waterloo, let's do the Battle of Long Island, instead of these just historical battles by themselves in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Why are we doing, like our last videos were over the northern colonies?
Yeah, the New England campaign.
New England, thank you, is the New England colonies. Why are we doing a campaign there that's very ahistorical compared to this is exactly what happened, this is history? What are the pros and cons of that?
So I think when it comes to set piece battles, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's fun to refight certain battles, and I think in some ways those set battles can be almost superior to the campaign battles in that these set battles you have more variables like, oh, your commander here on this day at this battle was actually sick. So,
yes.
So he's delayed in issuing orders. Or, hey, on this day it was rainy and so it was muddy and your only axis of advance to go through is this gorge
now this
or this valley, right? So I think refighting battles is fun. You can absolutely do that. But for me, the big thing for me is wanting to get that overall strategic view. Mm-hmm. Because if you're playing, I'll call them more arcade, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I feel like they're a little bit more arcadey because whether or not you lose or win this battle, okay, cool, fun, hey, we had a good time.
Yeah.
But in a campaign, I feel like that makes the battles even more, I don't want to say serious because it's a game, but even more important,
no, I was about to say
weight.
I was about to say the same thing is during that New England campaign, I was the commander for the Americans. I wasted my cav. And then that came back and bit me in the ass toward the end.
Yes.
Whenever I should have pushed east, sorry, I get my cardinal directions confused. I should have pushed east, but I just didn't know what was out there. That's the boogeyman that's out there. I was McClellan during the Civil War. It's, they've got a larger force than me. They've got this. They've already massed. They weren't. They were spread out so much worse than I was, and I was massed. And I had cav, would have known that.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's where I think 6 mil comes into it, because you can move, like whenever you're moving troops on the map, you're like, okay, I'm actually moving 500 minis on this
yes.
map. So but I think having that, it's like, okay, if I lose this battle, then this is going to have ramifications for the next few real-time months that our club meets. This engagement will have ramifications. Like, we've been playing a campaign since August, which, forgive us, we have not filmed it. We haven't filmed it. But we've been playing a campaign since August in the southern colonies. And in August, I pretty much sacrificed 80% of my cavalry forces in a botched assault. And it's January now, and the campaign's starting to end, and I'm just now getting back my cavalry arm. Just now. Yep. And so since then, I've been blind on the campaign. Like, I have to rely on light infantry and basically reconnaissance by fire in order to gain ascertain the enemy's whereabouts.
It adds that stress of command that, I mentioned earlier, grew up playing Axis and Allies a lot. But Axis and Allies just doesn't have. You're just, I know in this one you're rolling dice, but in Axis and Allies you're just straight rolling dice. Oh, I've got this. In here, the campaigns, each movement has some ramifications. Am I about to get screwed because I march north and they've already enveloped me and, oh shit, I'm fighting on two fronts in a battle? Has the cav been able to go around? Has the cav been spying on me and I'm just over here blind because I've been rolling poorly and everything? It's those little things that I think makes the campaigns over the set battles so much more fun, and the goofy stuff you get in the campaign. I think I hung a mare. Yeah. Just because he talked some shit or something. I don't remember.
I mean, I was playing a campaign where the British player rolled to have a theatrical play in a town in order to win over the town's favor, and he got a militia company from it. So I mean, that is fun, and I think it all boils down to the mission for our club is to make whoever is playing, whether it be the overall commander or a regimental commander at the very bottom of the rung, whoever is playing, the goal is to make them feel as though they are dealing with the exact same issues, the exact same situations
Yes.
and problems that generals on the ground faced at the time period.
Yes.
That's exactly the issue. So I mean, it's like, okay, it's rained here. Okay, my force can't
now
move.
your movement, your movement.
I've
you're a
double
quarter of
timed.
movement. Yeah.
Yeah, I've double timed to get to this battle, and now
The boys are a little
great.
winded.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great. I have a brigade arriving to reinforce me. However, they are extremely exhausted. They just force marched 60 miles from another battlefield that was another battle that was happening at the same time, and so now they're arriving exhausted as well. You know, I don't know where the enemy's at. I'm having to roll reconnaissance. I'm having to send cavalry out on the campaign map.
Spies as well.
Yeah,
I think spies. I didn't utilize them because I didn't understand campaigns and everything. I kind of got thrown into it that first time, which was fun. But spies, underutilized part of campaigns. That topic we should talk about sometime.
Yeah.
Right there. So, why these certain time periods? Why not? I know we kind of brushed it with the 15 and 28 mil a little bit, but explain a little bit more. Why these time periods of, Civil War to, for us anyways, Rev War and, the Napoleonics, Jacobite. Why those time periods compared to, because I know they make them 6 mil for World War I or II or something like that. Why specifically those?
I mean, that's a very good question. I think our game, so we call it miniature wargaming, but really what we've taken the Prussian game of Kriegspiel and basically modified it to have miniatures with. Where Kriegspiel, you have a map and you're just moving blocks around. We basically taken that, but just replaced the blocks with minis. And the goal of Kriegspiel is to train officers for the Napoleonic Wars.
Yes.
Or for the next war after the Napoleonic Wars. So the game's already modeled after the Black Powder era. Mm-hmm. That and I think Rev War, you can have like a full scale army for relatively cheap and paint it up quickly in comparison to World War I, where you have like the Battle of the Marne and you have like hundreds of thousands of men. Millions even, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's easier. Also, I mean, the one thing that got me into history was, bright frilly uniforms, marching to your death as a band's playing.
Sense,
That's why I really like it. That era, that the scale of gentlemanly warfare, that era is why I really like it. Now, I mean, I'm down to start doing some videos on World War II, and we can most certainly do that.
I would.
But we have
my feelings on that.
Yeah. But, I mean, the thing is like, any rule set that's out there, our club has found that rule set does not meet our expectations of realism.
I've noticed that because I know some of the things we have in the pipeline that I don't know if this one will ever, this year anyways, make it. But we've done some rule set making for that Pacific War.
Yeah.
Trying to do the Battle of Midway specifically. That rule set, that's a challenging one because you've got to condense it because you're talking hundreds of thousands, a few thousand miles, I should say, of open ocean right there and war on a board.
I mean, and
12 by 15,
Yeah, I mean, and that's another reason why I think we've gone like with the Black Powder era. Because I think all the other Black Powder rules, whether it be actual Black Powder or any other 6 mil rule set where, this represents a division. Mm-hmm. All other rule sets, either one, don't do it man for man in scale, like a 1-to-1 ratio, or they make the rules a little arcadian, not realistic enough. Now, of course, you're going to have to put, you're not going to have full realism.
Right.
Like for instance, we don't have ammo counts on these because that would be terrible.
They can't be screaming as they're dying.
Exactly. So you can't.
That would haunt some of our guests.
You cannot. You can't get as realistic as you like. So the main reason why I think we've stayed with 6 mil this long is because we had to make a handmade rule set in order to play the game how we want it. Which hopefully this will be able to get released and published soon. But like we had to hand make the rule set.
Glinting bayonets, by the way, is what it's called. Look out for it.
We had to hand make that rule set in order to get what we wanted out of the game, which was realism and dealing with having the player deal with the same problems as generals did back then. Whereas other rule sets are like, hey, this represents a division. Go out and play. Bolt action. I've read some of the bolt action rules. It's not realistic enough for me. So the one thing that's been stopping us from doing 28 mil is we have to make a brand new rule set from the ground up if we want to have a war game that is as realistic as we want. And that goes with 15 mil too. We had to hand make the rules for this 6 mil game. We had to hand make the rules for the naval aspect of the time period. Rules like Warhammer, Warhammer's fun, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I do Death Korps Krieg. But
Space Wolves.
it is not realistic enough.
Oh, I mean, well, obviously it's fiction, but yes, no, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's not realistic in fiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But that's my big harp on why campaigning, why we do 6 mil, and why specifically we are only doing Rev War and Civil War in comparison to World War II, which hopefully we'll switch over to doing World War II. But we have to figure out the kinks of how we'll do a campaign and the rules. And
we got to figure out the mill we want to do. We'll get there. But what you said got you interested in history, this time period. What's funny is World War II is what got me interested in history because I'm substantially older than you. Whenever the History Channel was actually the History Channel and not what it is now, they would have stuff on World War II all the time, and I'd see these paratroopers. And then whenever I was 11, Band of Brothers had came out.
Ah, yes.
So being that that pre-adolescent stage, I flocked to that one. Loved it ever since. Everything about World War II, and then it got me interested in history, which is how we connect it and everything. And I hope we get to do at 6 mil, of course, something with World War II. I think that'd be neat, but so challenging.
I mean, and not like
challenging.
Not like a sponsor shot or anything, but I mean, we get all of our 6 mil basically strictly from Bacchus.
Yes,
6 mil. And I know they just released a World War II line, so maybe that could be something that we'd look forward to. And heck, we could have a video on just trying to talk about how we would do a World War II campaign, let alone the battles.
That was actually going to be my next topic. I'll let you talk about the middle colonies, then we'll go to. We'll end this here shindig. As much fun as it's been
until next time.
Yes.
So. We're aware that we slightly fell off a little bit, but like I said, we have been busy on the sidelines, mini painting, campaign preparation. The middle colonies is going to be coming soon.
I will be back as Fowler Swamp somehow. Yet to figure it out.
We might have some new players for the Brits, and whereas before we were meeting once a week.
Roughly, yeah.
We were meeting once a week, and we would film, and then I would work on the video, and then I'd churn it out like that weekend. Now we're most likely we're going to try to meet once a week, but we're for sure going to be meeting like once a month. And when we meet once a month, it's like we play Friday through Sunday morning. Yep. Wife doesn't really like that at the house, but I think she's fine with it.
The Waffle House on Sunday really just brings everything together.
But yeah, so we'll be straight filming Friday night through Sunday morning. So we're going to have plenty of content. The next upcoming campaign for the middle colonies, I want it to be interactive. If you guys, the viewers, want to put in like advice for what the general should do next, I'm not letting any of the players see the video.
Yeah, we do keep to the honor system. But on that note, though, to kind of give them, a little bit behind the scenes, there is a real possibility that the middle colonies and another campaign are going on at the same time, right? Because as he said, we do have one huge group that meets once a month, roughly, once every 2 months on certain months, but we meet once a month. That may be a separate campaign, maybe Civil War, Jacobite, we don't know yet. That may meet the middle colonies, may be somewhere more local to us. Because our large group comprises 3 states, right?
Yeah, we have three states that come in.
3 people from 3 different states. Well, multiple people from 3 different states is what I meant.
Later this month, we have an event going on where people are coming up from 3 states, and we'll have probably upwards of 20 people there.
Yes, and we will actually have some footage of that to upload.
Yeah,
very limited. Check Instagram. Right, and Facebook.
Mainly Conflicts
Instagram.
TV on Instagram. I've been running that. So
So, no, the other thing I was going to say and end with was, I forgot, it was the Middle Colonies is actually what it was now that I'm thinking about
Okay,
it. No, is the campaign, I'm joking, is the campaigns, is we do have some big campaigns coming up. We don't know the era yet. We're actually going to let our group decide the era. And then that's going to determine, do I as Fallerschwanz make a comeback? Or is Caleb here going to actually be a commander instead of the mysterious DM who screws over Americans every chance he gets? We're going to find out together. But other than that, next episode, I think we're going to talk about how to DM a campaign. If I'm right, our buddy Nathan is finally going to join us.
Yeah, our friend Nathan, he's the other big dude that does Rev War with our group. He'll be coming in.
And he is a big dude, very tall, very muscular.
If you guys, don't talk him up too much before he gets on there. If you guys haven't already figured out by our campaigns already, we have a neutral figure, which is you could say dungeon master, but we call them the umpire. And they are pretty much the master of Fog of War. They pretty much run the game. They're almost like the god of the game. They're determining the weather, reinforcements.
They are the alpha and the omega, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and he's been umpiring for almost a year and a half now. 2 years, I'd say. So when we have him come on here, we'll talk about some umpire strategies, how implementing an umpire makes. I mean, you can use an umpire even in a historical battle, not just a campaign. You could do it for just a battle. But we'll talk about how adding an umpire just adds that much more to your wargame experience, no matter what scale, no matter what era, no matter if it's a battle or campaign. Having an umpire there really brings it together.
Talk about umpiring. Another episode I know we got coming up is the importance of painting your minis accurately. As I've come to find out, is actually important. It's not just throwing some paint on and Dominus Otis, praise God, let's go.
Yeah, I thought when I first started doing Brit, it would just be painting them red coats.
That's what I thought.
But
for the Union,
a lot more.
I got a lot of Civil War. I thought painting the Union was, here's a blue jacket, boys, with some cigarette and some tobacco. We stole it from the South. Let's go. It's vastly more complicated. But on that note, until next time, I'm Nick. This is Caleb. We'll see you.